Hi everybody, welcome once again. And in today's video, I will explain you how to calculate welfare loss or deadweight loss, which is created as a result of price ceiling. In the earlier video, I have explained you the concept of price ceiling and how it leads to welfare loss. In this video, I will explain you that how you can calculate the amount of welfare loss created as a result of price ceiling. As we can clearly see in this diagram, that the equilibrium price is determined at $8 and price ceiling is imposed at $5. That means this is the maximum price of the good. We can calculate consumer surplus as the area of a triangle. Basically, this consumer surplus here represents a triangle. So, in order to find out consumer surplus, we can use this formula half times base multiplied by height, or we can also write it like this: P intercept of demand curve, that is 14 minus price paid by the consumer 8 times quantity. So at this price 8, the quantity is 20,000 units divided by 2. So this way we can find out consumer surplus. As you can see here, that even if we understand this in terms of area of a triangle, so what we get here is the base is represented by this part, basically this part, and this is 20,000, and then we have height 14 minus 8 divided by 2. So without any price ceiling in the market, $60,000 is the consumer surplus. Now let's find out producer surplus. So this area represents producer surplus. Now this again forms a triangle. So in order to find out the value of producer surplus, we can use this formula, or to put it in other ways, we can write it like this: P of producers, that is the price which is received by the producer, equilibrium price, minus P intercept of supply curve, that is 2 multiplied by the number of units, that is 20,000. And if we see the area of a triangle here, then again we have base as 20,000, height as 8 minus 2, that is $6, and then we will divide it by 2. So both ways the final result will remain same. So here we have price, that is 8 minus the p-intercept, that is 2, or basically the height here, and 20,000 is the quantity, or basically the base part, 20,000 here, as we can see. Six times 20,000 divided by 20. So again, we are left with $60,000 as. Now, since the government has imposed a price ceiling at $5, there will be a change in both producer as well as consumer surplus. As a result of price ceiling, the consumer surplus will no longer be represented by this triangle. Instead, it will be represented by this trapezium. So we can mention here that A plus this part B now represents consumer surplus as a result of price ceiling, and producer's surplus is represented by this part C. So let's find out the area of this trapezium in order to find out our new consumer surplus as a result of price ceiling. So as we can see here, that these are the two parallel sides here. As you can see clearly, these are the two parallel sides. So sum of two parallel sides. So one side is 14 minus price ceiling, that is 5, plus we can find out this side. So as we can see here that it is like, let's say, $11. So this will be 11 minus 5 multiplied by the distance between them. So the distance between them is 10 minus this 0 is like 10,000. So now we can find out the final value here. So here we have 9 plus 6. The final value here is $75,000 as a result of price ceiling. So what we can see here is that the consumer surplus has increased as a result of price ceiling. Now let's find out producer surplus. The producer surplus, as we can see here, is represented by a smaller triangle. That means there is a fall in producer surplus as a result of imposition of price ceiling. So we can use the same formula here, the area of a triangle, to find out the value of producer surplus. So 10,000 times height, that is 5 minus 2. So as we can see here that the value of producer surplus in this case is only $15,000. So if we compare it with the initial consumer and producer surplus, we can see that the initial consumer surplus was $60,000 and initial producer surplus was also $60,000. But now after price ceiling, consumer surplus is $75,000. That means it has increased by 15,000. Whereas producer surplus has decreased by $45,000 as a result of price ceiling. Earlier it was $60,000. Now this value comes down to $15,000. So as a result of price ceiling, there is a welfare loss to the extent of this portion D and G. So this T triangle represents a loss in consumer surplus as a result of price ceiling because of under allocation of resources towards the production of this good, and this portion, this triangle G, represents the loss in producer surplus.